Hey, it's September 16th, 2019. I'm doing my testosterone Tshot prescription, and that's for people who are trans male and who have gonadal issues with producing testosterone hormones. So it's not just trans people who take hormones, but other folks who have had injuries and endocrine system issues. Somebody asked, so you were a girl at birth. A politer way of asking that would be to say, were you, the acronym's AFAB, which stands for assigned female at birth. Because I was never a girl. I've always been a man. Sometimes for the first 35 years of my life, my external body has not matched my internal gender identity. There's an old saying that says, gender's in the mind and sex is what's between the legs. I kind of don't like that saying. It just has a weird ring to it. But yeah, gender dysphoria is when your identity, your gender identity, that's the mental part, it does not match the assigned gender at birth, which is the physical exterior of your body. And there's different forms of that as well that don't have to deal with gender identity or sex, and that's called body dysmorphia. Sometimes people feel they're regular size when they're actually much too thin, or that they're regular size when they're and perceive themselves as much bigger than they actually are. Or it could be other issues, such as a person thinks they're extremely overweight when they're extremely underweight. There's those situations. There's also people who have phantom limb syndrome, which happens when your limb is not there. Say your arm, you lost your arm to an accident, but you wake up in the morning and you go and reach for something with your right hand because you're used to drinking water that way, and your arm is actually not there. So that's another form of mind versus external body sensation, or your proprioception. Proprioception is your brain, your mental link to your external extremities. I don't have to really think about it, but it happens that I send a signal to my hand saying open hand and go in front of the camera. That's in your sense of distance of where your body is in relation to other objects. So those are some different forms of perception versus external body. Not really focusing on the lens. I'm sorry for that. It's not in focus. But yeah, that's what I have. I have a symptom called gender dysphoria, and it's alleviated through hormone replacement therapy, HRT, and SRS, which stands for sexual reassignment surgery, or GRS. It depends on what country you're in, what terms they use. GRS stands for gender, or GCS, gender confirmation surgery, and before it was called gender reassignment surgery, so GRS. That's why I'm kind of stumbling on my terminology. I did start a master's degree in 2011-12 in there, and was doing a lot of reading, and since withdrawing from that program, or being essentially forced out of it, I haven't done a lot of reading around that. Hasn't been a focus or interest of mine, and the end result would have been exactly this, these YouTube videos anyways, so yeah, so sorry for my dog drinking lots of water as he does. We've been doing a lot of exercise and running, so yeah. and it's kind of dry in my place. So yeah, I was born a female. The doctor saw my body and assigned me the gender of female on my documentation, and I have since had to change that documentation, which I've done, which is a pretty simple application through the government of Ontario. I'm in Canada, so it's Ontario government for license, and birth certificate I think is federal, but it's a pretty simple process. You can PDF print out the document or fill it in and then sign it and mail it in, and there's a fee of $140 at the time that I did it, which was 2012. So yeah, it's been a number of years, 7 years since then, and I don't know if, I'm sure the fee has gone up a little bit at least, and I hear it's the same process according to hearsay from other people. So I've changed my license, my health card, and my banking information, my national student loan information, my I don't know, applications for different grants and whatnot. I've changed my names on those. My IMDb, they were really great about things. I wrote them in email because I had 2 listings, one for my dead name, one for my new name. By the way, I don't really like that term dead name. It's my old name. It's the name I was given. My new name is fairly similar. I was thinking of changing the last one, but I've been using the name Nick since grade 5, I think. So it's been a long time using that name, so I don't feel comfortable using a different name as my male name. So, but it's not the name I was named at birth by my parents. So yeah, that's all been changed to male gender. There's options now in some provinces on your license to remove the gender marker, to be other or not one of the binary genders on your identification. And the health card doesn't actually have a gender identifier. I think it did in the print of it. It's a long series of letters and numbers for your identification ID, and I think there would be an F or an M in there somewhere. I think that's changed, but you can still, of course, like send in your information to the Ontario government to make sure that when they scan your health card at a hospital or emergency or whatnot, that the information that comes up in front of them has your chosen name. And I've actually since gone to 3 different hospitals I've been to in this city, in Toronto, to make sure their database has the name changed on it, because I have had to go into hospital like post HRT, like after I started hormones and before it might have been after I changed my name with the health card, like that bureau, but I got some people stumbling on what term to use. It might have been when I went for my MRI scan on my back, but somebody stumbled on one of the secretaries. My worst experiences are usually with secretaries or uninformed staff who are not doctors, and the doctors don't seem to take into consideration staff they're hiring or firing, or maybe it's like a separate department, but they're not always as gender aware or open as the actual doctor you're seeing, or they don't pass on information. I've had that happen. I've been in crisis and not had information passed from secretary to doctor, and vice versa. You know, sometimes you come out to your doctor but not your secretary. Why should you? And especially in like a busy waiting room, you might not feel comfortable doing that. So anyhow, in a hospital in Ontario, they have what's called the they're human. It's not HR like human resources. It's like for patients to go to an office to like make complaints against doctors, or to, if they have an issue with the operation of the hospital system itself. So that's something I was having an issue with. I was having secretaries like stumble on whether to address me as sir or ma'am, and maybe seeing the wrong name on my file, which is pretty uncomfortable. Like I have looked like this for a really long time, so for them to see something in my file and then out me without my consent is really inappropriate. So that's something you could do with a hospital if you're having that issue, is go to their, it's customer relations. I knew it was at HR's, but it wasn't the regular HR that you apply to a job there. Customer relations office, and I've done that at 3 hospitals, and actually made a complaint about a particular department that I was having an issue with, and actually I couldn't see my specialist because reception was giving me such a hard time with regards to my gender and my identity and my chosen name and pronouns. So yeah, that's something you can take action with. And if you want to make a suggestion, the 519 Community Center, which is the gay community center in Toronto, has a program where they hire people from the community to then go out and educate staff at hospitals, or I used to be a part of it. They educate I did a talk at U of T for medical students. I did one for youth housing outreach and emergency youth shelter services, and related services like healthcare and sexually transmitted disease testing and emergency like sandwiches, and this kind of even testosterone injection kits. So it's that kind of a drop-in center where highly at-risk youth can go. Anyhow, I did a basic 101 education course of how to use pronouns correctly and how to ask what a person's pronoun is in the politest way, or what name they identify with when you're unsure, and how to make that a starting point for everybody there, and not to assume people's gender identities. So if you're faced with somebody who looks like me and you think, oh, male, maybe I don't feel male that day, maybe I feel non-binary and want to identify as trans publicly because it makes me more comfortable, the staff have to ask, what is your name? Who are you here for? There's different ways you can say it, like, what pronoun do you prefer? It's, if it goes beyond that, it's a check off on my form I have to fill in. We have to ask everybody to put the client at ease, or yourself as a service provider. So yeah, 519 has an outreach program like that. That can come into your workspace or office and educate staff, or heads of corporate office, like all levels, right down to people who are doing cleaning maybe for your building. So that's something that you can suggest if you have to go to a hospital or a similar institution and make a complaint. You can suggest, oh, by the way, the 519 or Rainbow Health Ontario, which is situated in Sherbourne Health Centre, has diversity workshop initiatives you might be interested in hiring to educate your staff, or the doctors, or the management, or any level. So yeah, that's just some thoughts I have around identifying and being identified, and how to ask somebody's identity, and how to be cool about it and be polite, and without asking unnecessary questions. It's never polite to ask about a person's body, or how they feel, or their sexual organs, or what they plan to do or not plan to do, unless you're super tight and like close friends and consider yourself family. Like, if you're in this person's life, maybe it's something you might be okay with asking. But even as like, maybe you're a partner of a trans person who's just come out to you, it's not polite to immediately jump to, well, oh my god, you're getting rid of your dick. Like, that's that's not cool, so don't do it. Like, maybe the person is just kind of feeling the waters, not even sure if they're gonna call themselves trans next week, like that. They're not sure if they want to even change their name. They're not sure if they're questioning, or a crossdresser, or trans, or non-binary, or asexual, or maybe they're gender fluid and they fluctuate between what they feel like. You should allow them that space to, by not questioning them too much, not making them. We've thought about it enough, like I thought about it for 2 years before even trying a hormone injection. So when you question us, it can make us feel disempowered by putting that tone on of, oh, are you really sure you want to do this thing? Like, you're making me more scared about a decision I already am scared about and have questioned and challenged in myself for such a long time, that like it makes the whole situation kind of uncomfortable. That being said, I've personally been on hormones for 7 or 8 years now, and I'm very comfortable with every sort of question. So if you have a question, it's not, no question's stupid, just like ask away in the comments. Remember to click the like and the subscribe bell and notifications. But yeah, ask away, yeah. Like, I popped out, they said, oh, it's a girl. I've never identified with that from very, very young age, like even down to like in the crib, I was like doing things that did not identify with stereotypical female genders in my Canadian, North American society. So yeah, didn't like pink, didn't like dolls or dresses or frilly things, or I like certain things. I like blue. I could do sparkles if it was blue, or like that kind of thing. But yeah, I was more interested in the toys that my brother had and stuff that my brother had than what I had. And I don't know if he liked what my parents were getting from me, but I remember spending time in my brother's room and with my brother's toys, and my dad's stuff, like checking out his tools or clothes or stuff like watches or whatever, like I was more interested in that. And like, I wonder if actually my brother was interested in my things, because it turned out that he was more of an effeminate cis man and identifies as gay, so who knows. So yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I'm doing a testosterone shot of deletestrol. It's prescribed to me by my family doctor. I take 0.5 cc's in an intramuscular injection syringe, which is what this is, and that is injected into the bum or the leg. And so I'm going to try my injection into the bum area, the upper gluteus, and you want to go on the upper half of the bum and more towards the outside, towards your hips, but not right on the side, because your hip is there, obviously. All right, let's do that. Sorry if you hear any bang, it's my neighbors. That's it. Put a band-aid on there. Seriously, my unfit body. I've been resting quite a lot after that hike I did. And I realized I did it on a Tuesday, and then last week I did it on Monday, so I'll try to keep it on Mondays, because I go to a program on Mondays. I have an appointment every Monday, so try to keep it on Mondays. But yeah, I just did it on the outside of my, past my hip, top of my bum here, which is like quite high. Which I feel like, I don't know if it's true, but maybe it's having steroids in the area can help with my back pain. But I mean, it is testosterone, so it's gonna make you feel more energized and help with building muscle. So, because it is a growth hormone, so and with that, for me, it's like made it very easy to develop muscle. Like, I feel like as a woman, I would work out and work out and work out and nothing would change. And as a guy, it's like I lift a weight, like, and my weights are like over here. Like, I just have these little, each one of those is 10, so it's 40 pounds, I think. And I just do that like 10 times, like once or twice a day. And like when I'm in that regimen, I did it yesterday, and like I didn't do it today, but it's very, very easy for me to not have any fat in my arms and to build muscle. Like, I hardly have to do anything, whereas before, when I was in rowing in high school, which I did for 6 years, actually tried out for the Olympics team. With that, I wish I could do it, but I can't do this stroke. You have to like lie all the way back and kind of hold your back. Say you're on the ground, you're holding your back this high off the ground, like a couple, 10 inches or so, which is really hard to, it creates a lot of core strength and stomach strength, but I have a low back injury, so I tried to do it when I went back to do my education, my master's at York University, because they started a rowing team, but I couldn't physically handle it. There's too much pain involved, and it puts so much pressure on the already crushed nerve endings coming out of my back that, because I was injured in high school, and then I was injured really severely at work a number of years, 5 years or so after high school. So yeah, I feel that like having steroids injected into that area, even though it's my butt, it's like I have sciatic pain down my butt. It like might help with keeping that area strong, obviously, and support my back with the muscle structure. And I feel like I build muscle way, way easier than when I was rowing. So yeah, like actually even when I started rowing, I was 215 pounds. I was just going into high school. I was overweight. I had a broken knee, or had injured my knee. So I'd been off it for a while, and after trying a few other sports, I decided on that one. And so I did that and snowboarding every weekend for 6 years. And I lost that weight. I think I went down to 180. I lost about 40 pounds in the first year, and then there's pictures of me. I have that from when I'm in the rowing stuff, because you can't wear like really baggy clothes, because you're on these runners on this platform. Your seat, where you sit in the boat, is on wheels inside the boat, and there's these like 2 little runners that the wheels of the seat go back and forth. And that's to like bring your leg up to get a powerful push. And you push against, your feet are tied down in shoes that are attached to the inside of the boat. And that force of shifting your body against the boat, against the oars, it's like this big fulcrums. It causes the propulsion of the boat. Yeah, I wish I could do it. I really enjoyed rowing. But like I say, I can't do it anymore. And I'm not really near or have access to a service that's within my price range. Like, to join the Toronto Yachting Club is like extremely expensive. So, and the school I was in had people donating gear, like the boats, and or parents buying them outright for the school, and the school had a lot of money, so I was able to do those things. It had its downsides because the people weren't that great that I went to school with, but yeah, I was able to do those sports. So losing the weight, I lost it very slowly over a number of years to get down to my good average weight is 165, 160, and I'm a little bit over 165 now. And last summer I was again up to around 210 because of side effects of the medication that I was taking, and just not really being interested in exercise, I guess, and also having injury upon injury. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into it, and it's much easier. Like